Look at this. Now, look at that. Which one would you want to play? Me too. I mean, what did I even think about thinking this was even acceptable in the first place? How on earth did I get from this to that? I mean, I've made better maps on a MacBook 2010. As for this blossoming beauty and this modern work of art, the first step was to figure out what on earth I was doing wrong.
It took hours of research videos and aching wrists, but it was worth it. I thought it might be easier to switch back to my old method of handwriting game ideas.
I mean, I did pay for a game idea sketchbook for a reason.
There was that, and some pondering favourably on my old experiences of Mario Kart Wii, visualising the beauty of those maps, and the shortcuts that I abused to embarrass my sister. That, the long nights of research and not just the daydreaming, that was basically what I spent most of this time doing. Don't trust me? Watch.
Alright, so for those of you who saw my previous video, you might be wondering, why on earth am I using pen and paper when I obviously have Obsidian, which I could do on my computer? That's because I'm not thinking clearly. I mean, you can see outside my window, right? Do you see what color that is? Black. I should be asleep by now, so obviously, I'm not at prime functionality. Besides, there's just something about pen and paper which is good. So, I think I actually should try and re-upload these, but these are just like previous examples. And so you can get some pretty good stuff on paper, which is a little bit more annoying to do on Obsidian. Not impossible, but slightly annoying. Keep in mind, these are the ramblings of a guy who is still up at 2:40 a.m.
This is not okay. This needs to stop now.
See? I'm slowly drifting into insanity just to get a final product that both you and I can enjoy. Don't say that I won't go to extreme lengths for you. Anyways, let me show you something. Take Mario Kart, for instance, as if I haven't taken more than enough inspiration from them already. Do you see all of those bright colours, interesting props and side rooms, dynamic obstacles? Yeah, those annoying cars constantly driving backwards and forwards in Coconut Mall.
Like, do you mindless bots not know how to drive?
Anyways, those guys. Why don't I add some of that to my maps? Not only that, but just the beautiful background scenes and characters and stuff. It's this kind of stuff which makes the game feel alive and kicking, giving you the same enjoyment from your youth. You're not gonna find any of that on our old maps, so let's do something about that. Well, about that. There's one key difference which makes my game different from Mario Kart. Finally! My game isn't going to be using that many items. Apart from maybe the speed boost ones and the invincibility ones, if I can be bothered to, of course, there's not going to be that many items that I could use to introduce the chaos that we also love and crave.
I mean, spamming those blue shells on your unfortunate friends truly was something else, wasn't it?
But yeah, I'm not going to be able to rely on that. So, why do items matter so much? In Mario Kart and other such racing games, items are used to balance the playing field between pros, aka sweats, and noobs. Pros at the front can item hoard their defensive shells and bananas as they utilize map shortcuts to stay ahead. The average player can use the red and blue shells to pester the pros up top and try to get past them. Noobs stuck at the back can use bullet bills and other such overpowered items to do the driving for them and keep them near the rest. As such, items play an integral part in keeping fantasy racing games fun, as they can be used to, well, balance. So then, why am I so adamant on getting rid of them? Inconvenience. No, I'm being dead serious. Networking before was already tedious with just getting the race manager working with the player networks. Now imagine that with tens of different items having to be synced across the network so that when I throw a shell, for instance, it hits them on time. Dude, this is an issue that multinational companies such as Nintendo are still dealing with. And you think that I have the ego to come in and say that I can do a better job myself? Pff, nah, fat chance. I mean, do keep in mind, it's already taken me 9 months to accomplish what I've done so far. Do ignore the fact that most of this time I was either actively avoiding touching those disgusting things, preparing myself for the guerrilla warfare that was AQA A-level physics, or just living my life. Anyways, I don't have any items to work with, so how then will I make my game fun? To start with this, I've decided to redesign my aerial map. For starters, I won't make you jump, for now. I've also just used longer vertices to make the turn smoother, which means that my maps are less straight and boring. I've also spent a decent amount of time on creating cool low poly clouds, which are just 8 spheres stuck together. Now there's like 60 of them. Hooray! Anyways, I'll use these new models to construct the new map, which now looks something like this. But wait, there's something that I forgot to tell you about. The Thundercloud, aka the Wrath of Zeus. This Thundercloud is my way of spicing up driving on this map. It will generate a thunderbolt which will randomly strike a particular spot on the track. If it hits a player or a piece of track near the player, then it's going to explode and you will be stunned for a couple of seconds.
Might be funnier if I increase this probability to some stupid degree by using player tracking, i.e. basically hitting whoever's in first place a lot more than those who are last. Kinda to even the battlefield. Also just to annoy Sweats, cause honestly I find that hilarious.
Why have I bothered to do all of this? I mean, I won't really have items for you to use to mess around with other players, so I'll do it for you. You're welcome, noobs. So, I've done some more brainstorming and come up with some more new and fresh map ideas. For every one of them, I've made sure to add some form of dynamic obstacle. That is, an object which moves across the track to constantly change the optimal racing line. For aerial, that was the Thundercloud. So far, I've got the Super Bowl. Not to be confused with that mid-event which Taylor Swift went to. The Super Bowl will be just basically a circular F1 track. I will basically have AI cars that use the Unity nav mesh system to drive in and out of the pit stops at determined times. That I might randomize depending on the time of day, just so that I can sync it across each player's computers without actually having to sync it. I mean, I told you I hate networking. For whatever strange reason, I decided after scrolling down nonsense on a paper for 2 hours, I've decided I want to induce to myself more pain by working with a programmer's favorite chore, networking. Anyways, next idea is Atlantis, which is my excuse to mess around with water shaders. Oh, I'm sorry, I mean my underwater level. I want this map to start at a lovely beach and then have the players submerge themselves into the abandoned realm of Atlantis. For this map, sharks will be my dynamic obstacles. These will be definitely a lot harder to program than cars. After that is Arenal, which is a track literally named after an active volcano in Costa Rica. Huh? That's oddly specific. Why an active volcano and why Costa Rica in particular? I just chose this one because it both looked nice and relatively easy to model. Anyways, this track will have players driving up the volcano and enter it and spiral down the center to restart the loop at the base through a hole in the volcano, which I thought honestly would be pretty cool, and I hope you would find it the same. After that, we've got Operator. This track's name is a subtle nod to the Slenderman creepypasta. Why? Because it's based on a creepy foggy forest, and it would be pretty interesting to see what a racing game can do with fog. On a similar theme, the dynamic obstacles will be ghosts appearing from the abandoned wooden huts on the side of the track. Scotland. Try to guess why I've called this track that. Because the stupid place is freezing and I wanted to include an ice level. I mean, how does no friction sound? Come on, just imagine those sick drifts. This map is a glorified shopping center winter wonderland with an ice rink in the center. For future statistics, vulnerable targets, no, I mean children that you can run over, oh come on! For dynamic obstacles that you should totally avoid, there are children on ice skates throughout the track. Make of that what you will, you twisted individual. Finally, for now, there's Evacuation, a map based on a chill rural village in England. Why? Simply because I wanted to reflect on the pain and misery of war, especially those estranged children running into random wardrobes to escape the terrors of aerial German warfare. On a lighter note, there's sheep to avoid. Those are your dynamic obstacles. As for the racetrack itself, I want to incorporate forking roads like a real village to provide many different routes for players to use to cut across town. That should be interesting until when the computer scientist pulls out the pathfinding algorithm.
Bad nerd. No A stars other than A levels. No Dijkstras. Just play the game normally.
There's one question which long-time viewers may be asking right now. Why am I focusing on making so many maps? 4 Grand Prix. Duh. Who told you I was completely done with ripping off Mario Kart? Pfft. I mean, it's a good game. Anyways, if I want to actually make Grand Prix, then there has to be multiple maps for the lobby to play on. I want to start with Grand Prix having 4 tracks, but that's a problem for another day, or rather, another video. If you're interested in seeing why and or from what this project began, I'd recommend that you check out this video here. If you want to watch a fellow gamer play the game more so on your level, I'm assuming the worst of you by the way, then my gaming videos may be of more interest to you. If that's the case, do comment down in this comment section so that I know people are interested with those. With all of that said, I bid you adios.